Steve Alcorn's a fine investigator. What he's doing with this Chris dude, I have no idea.
I gave her cigarettes for our anniversary one year.
There you go. That's fucking romantic.
She didn't like gifts. I said, well, I want to get you something. What do you want? Just give me a couple packs of cigarettes. So I wrapped them up and gave them to her.
Yeah, have some lung cancer.
You got a dead Bigfoot that's just been shot, hanging upside down in a tree. Though Melvin was also careful to note, it's not a course about Bigfoot.
It's a course about Fozzie Bear. Who's Fozzie Bear? Some say his father was half grizzly. Nobody believed he was real. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a Muppet. To me, that was better than being President of the United States.
They upped my meds last night, so anything's possible. We're laughing at a story about dead people. I can't explain it, but it sure makes me feel like the spirits are happy.
I mean, I guess you could say it might have been somebody's hand moving real quick, but it's not a fucking ghost.
The jury's still out on that.
See, your hoaxes come at you with smiles. They come as your friends.
Pope Francis says doggy heaven is real, so your dog has a soul.
Ah, so now the dogs can hang out with the pedophiles.
Not Benedict, Francis, Pope Francis.
No, I'm just guilt by association, Steve.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's what they say when they talk about me and you.
Yeah, there you go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. This is the Time to Get Your Picture Pages episode number 65.
Is that LeVar Burton's show? Picture Pages?
No, that's Reading Rainbow, son.
Oh, that's right.
Get it right. Geordie LaForge does Reading Rainbow.
I loved Reading Rainbow.
Kunta Kinte is Reading Rainbow.
Okay.
Tonight, we talk about the Roswell slides. I don't know much about these slides. I think it's going to be a park, an attraction, and they're going to let people slide down water pipes.
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
Well, maybe. Hey, that would be kind of neat.
The Roswell Water Park.
Slides. That's right. We should. I think we just
some rich son of a bitch is going.
Yeah, like a lot of rich sons of bitches listen to this show.
Yeah. No. So Steve sent this story to me and said, "Hey, you should look into this." And I opened the website and I was like, "Yeah, that looks cool." And then I shut it.
It's okay, Chris, because I did a little digging and looking and searching and finding, and I think I know a little bit about what's going on here. So
it was a weather balloon?
Well, I'm not going to make any assumptions about what exactly crashed at Roswell.
Oh, come on now.
I've been into UFOs for a long time, and I've studied Roswell quite a bit, and I'm still confused as what the fuck happened there. So, like I said, I'm not going to make any assumptions. Was it an alien spacecraft? I don't know. Was it a weather balloon? Well, we know it wasn't a weather balloon. Was it a Project Mogul balloon? It might have been. I don't know. So
I don't know what it was. I wasn't there. That's what I can tell you.
I go back and forth on it all the time. You have to admit, though, that some of the stories that came out of it are pretty compelling, but whether they're true or not, who knows?
That's a horse of a different fucking color.
Right. These slides, I've heard about this for a while. From what I can determine, it started around 2013 where the first mention of these slides came out. What they are is like Kodachrome slides, the old Kodak, Kodachrome, and they're supposed to show, although nobody's ever seen them except for a few people. Anthony Bergalia is the one who's, I guess, in charge of this shit, but nobody's ever actually seen the slides except for him and a few others, but they're supposed to show alien bodies from the Roswell crash.
Aha!
But here's the problem.
There's always a problem. Wait, but here's the problem. The slides were taken in 1995.
Well, no, they claim that the slides are authentic to 1947, which is when Roswell happened. Obviously, though, how can we determine whether or not the pictures on the slides were taken in 1947? I don't know if there's a way to determine that or not. They do claim that they have somebody from Kodak who has authenticated the slides, but they haven't released the name of that person.
Well, no.
Sorry.
You can't leak your source, Steve. No, you're a good investigative reporter.
Right. Well, why would I want to do that? I wouldn't never leak my source. Because, it might cause him problems because he authenticated some slides from 1947. That might cause him some problems. Here's my biggest issue with this. This week, or actually on February 1st, Anthony Bragalia, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name. Now, this guy's been around the Roswell story for a long time. Him and Stanton Friedman and Don Schmidt and what the hell's that other guy's name? I lost it. Tom Carey.
Mike Schmidt?
These guys have been... what's that?
Mike Schmidt?
No, Don Schmidt. These guys have been, like the big investigators of the Roswell shit for quite a while.
Wasn't Mike Schmidt the one that cried?
I think he did,
I was just a young baseball player with 2 bad knees. Okay.
I really admired Mike Schmidt. I wonder if Don is any relation. Was it SCHMITT? No, it wasn't.
Anyway. Okay.
Off topic. Anyway, these guys, Don Schmidt, Tom Carey, Anthony Bragalia, are putting on this thing in May. I just got sidetracked there for a second. I have no idea why. So Anthony Bragalia this week puts out basically a press release proclaiming that they're going to put the slides out in May. And I just want to read a little bit of it. It says, what some say represents stunning visual evidence of humanoid creature that was found crashed near Roswell, New Mexico in 1947 will soon be released to an international live stream event, referred to some as the Roswell slides. The Kodachrome images have now been authenticated by expert scientists, and their provenance has been confirmed. During that long process, many have speculated about precisely what these pictures show. People will now be able to see for themselves with the public reveal of the slides on May 5th, 2015. And where, Chris, is this being held? The National Auditorium in Mexico City. I'm just going to read some more because this is where I have problems. The event will include presenters Dr. Edgar Mitchell. You'll remember Edgar Mitchell. He was like on the moon and shit. The sixth man on the moon, as well as noted Roswell investigators Tom Carey and Don Schmidt. Transmitted live from a 10,000-seat National Auditorium in Mexico City. The history and background, context of the slides, as well as the other facets of the case, will be detailed. Tom Carey, who made international news when he announced the discovery of the slides at the American University in Washington, D.C. last month, will be providing more information and logistical details on the event shortly. Now, I found this on Kevin Randall's blog. Kevin Randall's is well known also in the UFO, community, and he's written several books and shit. But all he was doing was passing on this information. But I left a message at the end of this because this is my problem. Why all the fanfare? If these slides are legit, like you say they are, why not just release them to the public? Anthony Bragalia says that nobody's making any money on this and all that, all that kind of stuff. So why not just release these slides to the public?
Okay, I've said this a million fucking times on this show, and I will say it one more time so that everybody can understand it really fucking clear. They are the carnies.
Right.
And the people that go are the rubes.
Pretty much. Here's my other issues with this. the slides were allegedly found in somebody's attic when it was being cleaned out. The people whose attic it was had passed away. Their names were Bernard and Hilda Ray. Bernard was a oil expert.
Bernard, what'd you do with the pictures of the aliens?
Well, here's the thing. Bernard was an oil exploration geologist, and he worked in the New Mexico area, which included Roswell. And his wife, Hilda, was supposedly a high-profile lawyer.
Hilda, shut the fuck up!
These two had no children. Okay.
You barren bitch!
Obviously, if you're going to come up with a story about slides and you don't want any repercussions from said story, you're going to find a couple who fit a certain mold, and that couple was Bernard and Hilda Ray. Because they had no children, there's not going to be any backlash from the family. I did do a little investigation work, though, Chris. Bernard Ray is, in fact, or was, in fact, a geologist in New Mexico working in the oil fields. So that part of the story is true. But how they found these slides, I don't know. It says that they were in a chest, you know, like one of those old steamer chest type things.
That's
And
where I
there was a
kept
whole
them,
bunch of-
Steve!
Is this what you're going to do the whole show? So anyway, they found them in this chest, and there was a bunch
My
of
barren
slides.
wife couldn't give me any children!
Yes, you can have that. My son is now interrupting the show because he wants that. What is that called? Yahoo? Yoo-hoo. He wants a Yoo-hoo. That's a chocolate pop. That stuff's nasty.
Yeah.
The pop?
Yeah, go away.
Not pop.
I'm doing a show.
You shut up.
Anyway, so they found 100 slides in this chest, but under the lining, so somebody had to actually take the lining apart. They found 2 slides, and that's what shows the aliens. So I don't know. This story to me just seems pretty far-fetched. And if these slides were real, why is it that, number one, we're just now hearing about them, and number two, that we have to have all this fanfare, a 10,000-seat auditorium in Mexico City, to release these slides? I just don't get that.
Bernard, why don't you sell the slides so we can have a better house?
There's more to the story, though. Nick Redfern was involved. Everybody knows who Nick Redfern is, I'm pretty sure.
Redfoot?
He
He was the guy they met
He
in
had
The
gotten-
Usual Suspects.
Oh, no, different guy.
Oh.
But he got a phone call one evening, and the phone call was from somebody who knew something about these slides, and he says that, I mean, he's not involved in the story per se, but he got the phone call, and he says that they were trying to find out how much money these slides would be worth. So there's your other red flag. He says he doesn't know if it was the owner of the slides,
Just
whoever
throw
owns
them
it
on
now.
eBay. That's how most people find out what shit's worth.
No shit, right? Here's what I would do, Chris. I would create a YouTube video and present the slides in a YouTube video and get, you know, the Huffington Post or somebody to pick it up because they seem to like bullshit Bigfoot and UFO stories and shit like that. So, you know, and then I'd get, you know, 3-4 million hits and, you know, make money that way. And then, of course, I wouldn't show all of the slides. Here's my guess. In May, I have to read the end of this because the story goes on. It says the only conclusion, because they've had the slides tested, found out they were authentic, they found out the people were real people and all this bullshit. So the only conclusion is that the slides show a humanoid and not a deformed person, a mummy, a dummy, a simian, or a dead serviceman. It's not a creature that finds its origin on Earth. I said origin again, didn't I?
I don't know. I
I'm giving
can't
it-
hear anything over all the background noise.
There's background noise.
Yeah, I can hear
I wonder
everything
what's
going on.
Somebody's eating shit behind me and stuff. Anyway, so they say that the only logical conclusion that this is a dead alien, you know. I mean, come on. I just don't get the fanfare. Why don't we just show this? Why don't we just put it out to the public and let everybody make their own minds up? And why are we hiding all the researchers' names? Why aren't we saying, okay, such and such at Kodak is the one determining this? Why do we have to wait till May when this story's been going on since 2013?
Because you got to build it up.
And then back in 2013, Anthony Bragalia, and I found it on his own website, said the public will never see these slides. And now they have this big to-do in Mexico City showing the slides.
Well, yeah.
How much you want to guess they don't actually show them?
Oh, come on now. Be a believer, Steve.
How much do you want to bet?
Come on now.
One of two things. Here's
The flea circus is coming to town, Steve.
I can't help but be skeptical on something like this because we've been through it before. I mean, we've seen things like this before, big press conferences, and then nothing happens, and, that kind of thing. So not just in the UFOs, but in Bigfoot and, other things too. So they ramp up this conference that they're having, or press conference or event, because, yes, you're going to see such and such never shows up. So here's my guess, one of two things. We will see some slides, but you won't be able to tell anything by the slides. I mean, or it'll be an obvious piece of shit. Or number two, we won't see anything. So the person who owns the slides, quote unquote, will back out at the last minute. Those are my two guesses for how this is going to come out.
You don't think we're going to see a nice little fake alien?
If we see the slides, I'm guessing that...
Or even Steve,
at
you don't think we're going to see a real alien?
No, I don't believe so. Well, the argument behind what these slides allegedly show is that the descriptions of aliens back in those days, like in popular culture, weren't like they are today, like your gray alien and shit like that. But always in the stories from Roswell, they were more like the gray alien that we know of today. And that's what this is allegedly going to show, is that kind of alien, one that was described by the witnesses that have come forth from Roswell in the past. Of course it's going to show that, if they show them. Of course it's going to coincide with what these researchers have been pushing for years. Anthony Bragalia, Don Schmidt, and Tom Carey have been involved in Roswell research for as long as I can remember. I mean, they've been around for a while. So why wouldn't these slides show what they've been pushing for years? Of course they're going to, if they show them.
They just show Bernard's vacations.
Allegedly, after 1947, Bernard was never heard from in his profession again. Of course he wasn't, because that makes the story that much better, right?
Hey,
I'm
down. Why not? Let's go.
I mean, this is big news in the UFO community right now, and I can't help but think that, we had, in 2008, we had the Rick Dyer, Tom Biscardi thing, and this smells of that. It smells of the same kind of ramp up to a bunch of bullshit.
Come on to the biggest show on earth.
We have this proof, we have that proof. You're going to see it all, but there's nothing. Like what was said about
one day only.
You always throw me off track when you do shit like that. But anyway, I'm interested to see what these slides show. But I'm guessing.
Told you, Bernard's fucking vacations.
Well, there's a lot of alleged pictures of him with Dwight Eisenhower and other high-ranking officials back in those days. So obviously, they're ramping up to say, well, this guy was an important guy and he disappeared after 1947. So I don't know. But I just can't imagine that we're going to actually see slides of a real, alien.
You're just not a believer. Or maybe you're not a believer. Maybe you should start following Justin Bieber.
What if I do?
That wouldn't surprise me, like, at all.
My son,
Creepy fuck.
my son, you know, he's just a young kid and he doesn't know any better. He did. I don't think he does anymore, but he did like Justin Bieber for a while. And he got onto my YouTube and started liking Justin Bieber videos. Well, you know, Chris, that my YouTube is connected to my Twitter and my Google Plus and everything else. So it looked like I was liking Justin Bieber
jackass.
So
Yeah, just go ahead on there. Yeah.
I don't care if he watches them. Just don't make it look like I'm watching them. At least that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. So what do you think, Chris? Are we going to say some real slides, or it's just going to be a bunch of bullshit?
They're opening a water park. That's what I'm going with.
I think that's a good idea.
I am so jaded by everything that goes on in these communities with how people make these announcements and then say that it's the real deal and it's the closest thing to this, and I am so fucking sick of that shit. So I could give two fucks.
I have no doubt that the slides are actually from 1947. Whether the pictures on them are actually from 1947 is a different story. Is it possible, and I don't know because I don't know anything about film and cameras and shit like that, but is it possible for me to find some slides blank from 1947 and, you know, put pictures on them now? And if that's possible, then these mean nothing, you know? And if I do that, is there a way to tell that that was done? I'm guessing you could probably still do it somehow.
I don't know what to believe when it comes to fucking alien shit. Do I believe that there's extraterrestrial life? Absolutely.
Of course there is.
I believe that there could be extraterrestrial life in our solar system. I don't think it's walking on fucking two legs, watching TV, and bitching at its wife. But I think that there's some form of life in our solar system.
Some form of life, yes.
Yeah, I think there is some form of life other than us beyond this fucking planet, you know, beyond, what there is here. I think there's something out there, whether it be microbial or, something that lives in the waters on some of the moons around fucking, what is it, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, I don't fucking know. It's one of those nights. But I definitely buy into life within our solar system.
Yeah, and I do too. In fact, I think the evidence is starting to show that, with the exploration of Mars, there was obviously water there at one time, and water is what life needs, and some of the moons around, some of the planets and shit like that have water on them. So obviously there's some form of life. I know they found...
maybe, Steve, there's an alien civilization hiding.
On the other side of the moon?
And they're just watching. No, because NASA just released that whole thing of the other side of the moon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah. You got some news?
No.
Oh.
I did find one more thing on this, and I want to just read it. Okay, then I don't. I'll read the news.
What? No, what were you going to read?
No. Anthony Bragalia was answering a question about the film stock. And it said, he says, somebody had asked him, could the pictures have been taken later? He says, you are correct. The film stock is conclusively dated to a year of manufacture of 1947. It does not say precisely when the picture was actually taken. So that was just a conclusion. What my thoughts? How do we know? So anyway, news, right? You want to play the music again, or you just want me to start?
Oh, let's make it all dramatic again.
Okay. In our first story from theexaminer.com, 2 women end up in the hospital after I always pronounce this wrong, after a Ouija board. Is that how you pronounce it?
I don't know exactly. Die. I think it's a Ouija or...
Okay.
I don't fucking know.
Well, anyhow, a woman and her daughter are... Yeah, it's a board with letters and stuff. A woman and her daughter are in the hospital and in critical condition after a fire broke out in their home this past weekend. According to the woman, they were using a Ouija board a day prior to the fire when it warned them that they were going to die. Margaret Carroll and her daughter Katrina Livingstone were trying to contact the spirit of their dead dog Molly.
Well, that clears that one up, Steve. The Ouija board was wrong.
Well, yeah, because obviously they're still alive. The 60-year-old and 37-year-old were attempting to contact the dog through a Ouija board. Carol's husband told her that Molly had run away, but he had drowned the dog in a family's bathtub. Carol found out that her husband Paul killed the dog when their plumbing backed up due to the dog bones clogging the drain.
Oh, Jesus.
He claimed that a bad spirit entered their Bedlington Terrier on Christmas Eve when the couple was using the Ouija board. Carol's husband admitted to dismembering the dog to remove its microchip. I think these people have more problems than just a Ouija board, Chris. He said that he tried to hide the body in a ditch, but later flushed the body parts down the drains in the house.
Fucking asshole.
No, we shouldn't be laughing because Carol's husband suffers from severe learning disabilities and has mental health problems. Oh, shit. He was arrested and charged with animal cruelty and causing unnecessary suffering to an animal. The 51-year-old pleaded guilty, and he will be sentenced later this month. According to the couple's daughter, the Ouija board said that her and her mother were going to die during their reading. Then the following day, a fire broke out in the family's home. Livingstone and Carol were found injured.
I'd be more
in the
impressed if the Ouija board had said that a fire was going to break out in your home tomorrow and you're going to wind up in the hospital.
Well, here's the thing. They were found in the backyard. They were both arrested and charged with arson.
Fucking A.
They burned their own house down after her husband killed the dog and flushed it down the toilet. Now that's a story, Chris. I should have saved that one for last.
Yeah, you should.
Or maybe this one. Creationists. To dismiss unicorns found in the Bible as mythical animals is to demean God's word. This is from rawstory.com. An article posted at Answers in Genesis, a creationist apologetics website dedicated to sustaining the infallible truths found in the Bible. An author cautions that dismissing the one-horned horse known as the unicorn as a mythical beast is to demean God's word. Dr. Elizabeth Mitchell, citing several references in the Bible to the fantastical animal that is a favorite of children and fantasy fans, warns that the unicorn did indeed exist, writing, "The Bible is clearly describing a real animal." According to Mitchell, there are multiple references to the unicorn in the Bible, including Job 39:9. It says, "Will the unicorn be willing to serve thee, or abide by thy crib?" And Isaiah 34:7, where it says, "And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness." What do you mean, unicorns? Mitchell notes that modern readers have difficulty believing the Bible's unicorns because they forget that a single horn feature is not uncommon on God's menu for animal design. Think of the rhinoceros, for example. Mitchell does concede that the unicorn portrayed in popular fantasy as a silken-maned, graceful, one-horned horse, often accompanied by rainbows, may have actually been a type of wild ox known as a auroch. I think I pronounced that right. The auroch's horns were symmetrical and often appeared as one in the profile, and can be seen on some dude's palace.
As a picture?
I can't read his name. Yeah, as a picture, in a palace in probably Egypt somewhere. Mitchell concludes by writing, "The unicorn mentioned in the Bible was a powerful animal possessing one or two strong horns, not the fantasy animal that has been popularized in movies and books. Whatever it was is now likely extinct, like many other animals. To think of the biblical unicorn as a fantasy animal is to demean God's word, which is true in every detail," according to Mitchell. The date to date, paleontologists has yet to discover the fossil remains of a unicorn. However, that doesn't seem to concern the Kentucky-based publishers of Answers in Genesis, including President Ken Ham, who promoted the article on Facebook. Ham's creationist group is currently suing the state of Kentucky for $18 million in tax rebates for a Noah's Ark theme park located in Williamson, Kentucky.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, whatever. And my favorite. I mean, I like the Ouija board dog killing story, but this one's better. This is from the mirror.co.uk. The headline reads, "I'm stalked by a ghost which smells of fish when something bad is about to happen." Laura Dixon, 27, from Kent, first felt something supernatural as a child when she noticed the odd smell shortly before getting bad news about a relative. Some people claim to have seen ghosts, but this woman believes she can smell them. Laura Dixon says she is being stalked by a whiffy spirit which emits a fishy odor to warn her something bad is about to happen. I know where you're going, Chris. The 27-year-old says she first felt something.
Martha, shut the fuck up!
Anyway, she noticed the odd smell shortly before getting news that a relative had been rushed to the hospital after suffering a stroke. Laura said the pong always appeared.
Bernard, the ghost said your aliens are coming. I smelled fish.
She said it always appeared right before something bad happened. Ever since I was little, I've sensed spirits around me. I've picked up on presences in the room, and the fishy smell would come as a warning. Recalling her first supernatural encounter, she said, "I remember one time my mom rang to tell me about a close relative who'd been rushed to the hospital after suffering a stroke. In a way, the spirit's whiffy warning had helped prepare me. Her experiences have led to her work as a ghost hunter, of course. One of the UK's few female spectre stalkers. Laura, a keen amateur photographer, said, "I've often visited old buildings to take photos. I've noticed a number of my pictures were covered in light orbs. When I researched it online, I learned that some people believe it indicates a spirit present in the picture. This made me think, I'm going to catch more than light orbs, so I continued scouring old buildings, snapping away. In January last year, Laura, who works as a machinist on her off time, was taking pictures of St. Peter and St. Paul Church in Borden, Kent, when she snapped something spooky. In one of the pictures, a ghostly figure was standing in the window of the church," she said. Yeah, be something else. No mention if she smelled the ghostly figure that she snapped in the church, though. Anyway, her local paper ran the story, and some people responded to say it was just a bit of light trickery. But I know it's a real ghost, and it just made me even more determined to catch spirits on camera. And smell some more fish. Have you ever heard of that? Somebody smelling fish? When they, when a ghost...
I actually have a story, Steve. And I don't know if I've told this on the air or not. I may have, so if anybody's heard it, then fuck you.
A fish story.
Yeah. So I used to have...
Okay, go ahead.
I used to have a friend when I was growing up, and for the longest time, he never had a girlfriend. And then one day, he got the internet, and he hooked up with this girl from up north. Mm-hmm. This girl was rather big. Mm. Not that she was, not that made her bad, but she was a really sweet girl and everything. Well, one day, he got in touch with me and another of my friends. Well, not the other friend, but he got in touch with me and he asked me, he said, "Hey, could you pick her up from work?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And so I drove in with my other friend, and he was in the front seat. So when she went to get in the car, he jumped in the back. And she got in the car, and we drove her home. And she got out of the car, and my cousin just, closed the door and said, "I'm not sitting in that seat."
smell like fish did it.
The whole car just reeked the minute.
Well, let me ask you
She
this.
got in.
Let me ask you this. Did something bad happen after that?
Yeah,
Apparently it's a sign of
something very bad happened. I had to fucking clean my car, and it still didn't go away.
I hope she's not a listener to this show. I was going to go into that Bigfoot shit, but I think we ran long, Chris.
What Bigfoot shit?
Oh, somebody posted a 911 call from Indiana, Pennsylvania today, which is actually a hoax. It was an old video or an old audio from a call from Kitsap, Washington in 1996, and they just redubbed the caller's voice in over the shit. So if you want to see it, the original, it's on the YouTube. Man calls 911 or something. I don't remember.
What's your YouTube channel?
Post about
again?
it. Oh, Slick Toys. SLIKTOYS.
That's right. Shazam, son.
Yeah, I posted this video. I posted it 2 years ago, and just now people are redubbing voices into it so that it sounds like something new, but it's not. So if you hear of an Indiana, PA hoax, it's a hoax. Forget about it.
I'll post
I'll
post a link to on the blog to Steve's YouTube video. So check it out. What's that, Steve? I can't hear you over the sound of my fucking noise canceling headphones because it brings the music in so much fucking louder than my other headphones that I couldn't fucking find today. This has been Fortean Slip, episode 65. The Chris could have given a fuck less episode.
I think I'm going to go paint my fingernails pink.
You should. And then go to school. I think that would be a good thing for you to do.
I'm a rebel.
Without a cause.
There's no cause.